So my company just started sponsoring athletes, and I'm on the way now to a boxing fight, a professional boxing fight with a guy that we sponsored, and yeah, we made him t-shirts and everything. Let me actually show them to you. I got them out here. I was thinking, let me not show you, but I'll actually show you before, guys, because whoever watches my channel, I appreciate you guys. You know, it's not many of you, and I stopped and I started with this channel quite a lot of times, because you know what's the thing when you're a content creator starting out, especially, it's like you don't get support. Like, you watch how many people see the videos, right, and then how many like it. I'm sure you even get it on your own social media, and it's like the ratio is crazy. Like, people don't support it, and it's okay. Maybe the content I make's not good enough, or I don't know, maybe I haven't been doing it for long, but whatever. It's about just making progress, guys. That's what I learned, and that's what changed everything for me. It's like not about the short gains. It's not about, oh, I made a video and it got only 5 likes. It's about, can I do a video every day for a year? Can I do all my USOE habits every day for a year? Because I'll tell you what, if I can do that, I'll be more successful than I've ever been. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'll show you a few interesting things in this video, but check, this is the guy's shirt, and he's gonna wear it today. He's a professional boxer. You can see he's good. Add me on Instagram. I've got his some of his highlights there, but check the shirt. It's nice. It's like a bear's face, and then USOE. You see that? And what else? I'll show you the journals now, guys, but that's the whole point of the USOE, is to be able to control our focus better and learn how to show up in our lives in multiple areas at the same time. You know, that's why we got the 5 habits on the habit tracker. And I mean, that's not the end of the USOE. Like, that's just the beginning. It's like when you implement these habits for health, wealth, and relationship, then it equates to being on an upward spiral, right? And then you adapt and you become better over time. And I want to show you a tool that I made to really help people adapt, right? But this tool is available for the inner circle guys. For the free tools, we give away the gratitude journals, but this particular one is not. This is only for people that are in the program. But I'll show it to you, and I mean, if you really don't want to join the program, you can like try copy it or something. I don't mind, but I'm not just going to give this one away, because I put a lot of work into it. So this is just one of the pages. There's many pages with different things on them, but this is like the daily journal. And the one thing I want to show you, and you can even do this in any notebook, you just make 18 columns going from the bottom to the top, and each of those represents 15 minutes focus block, right? And then you train yourself to be able to actually do singular focus sessions, 18 times 15 minutes. And you can also like group some together. That's what I do. I do like, let's say, an hour, so that's 4 sessions and whatnot. And then I often like we'll do 2 together or 1 at a time. And then just by doing that, I'm allocating my focus much better. And let me show you some other things in the journal, right? So there's ideas to improve that which I currently do. So you just write any ideas that could improve anything you're doing. And then it's projects. There's projects up here. So I'm writing all the things I'm busy working on, the websites, the course materials, different businesses. I started a real estate business, this other business, you know, whatever it is, you write them there, different projects that you're involved with. And then any kinds of field of information like content ideas, and you put lists of those ideas, and I spend 15 minutes doing this in the morning. And I'll show you the page I did today, just to give you an idea of how much information I can put on it. And the other journal that I do, that's the main one. That is the gratitude and positive self-affirmations. That'll be available to all you guys for free. And even on a normal book, you can use like this method that I'm using. You can draw this block at the bottom there for the 15 sessions, and then you can make your own fields of entry. But this was today. So I put an alarm. I have an alarm for 15 minutes on my phone, and then I put it on this morning. And then I did the journal. So you see, that was my first field of entry, was do the journal for 15 minutes. And then when you do this is 18 sessions of focused work. There are very, very few people in the world that do that are capable of that even. Because becoming capable of that, it's not just like, oh, you're going to see this video and tomorrow you're going to do it. Maybe you can. I don't know who you are, but even me, I struggle to do it. I really struggle. And I'm getting better at it. And it's like working out at the gym. You know, maybe some days when I started off, I could do only 3 in a day, you know, and I found myself always getting distracted, always picking up the phone, always fucking some distraction. And I want to tell you guys that in Napoleon Hill's book, The Outwitting the Devil, he talks about a condition called drifting. And when you drift, that's when you lack definiteness of purpose, and you're just drifting along, and you're not like in control of your mind. The environment's actually in control of your mind. And when a person drifts too much and they lose their potential, and that's how the devil takes people's potential from them, right? And when you drift for too long, you develop a condition called hypnotic rhythm. And that is when that condition of drifting is like ingrained in your mind. And I've been through that myself. I was addicted to technology, and I just drift all the time, and I just shift from video to video to video, and addiction to addiction. And the way that I found to combat this is, like, first of all, develop those daily habits. The habit of journaling in the morning is also one of the most powerful antidotes for drifting, because drifting is about lacking definiteness of purpose, right? And that's one of the main reasons people drift. They just don't really know what to do. But when you start to journal, you start giving yourself ideas to improve what you do. Like, oh, I could do this, I could do this, I could do that. And then you start giving yourself tasks to do those things. You're going to start doing all of them, and then you're going to be empowered. That's how the upward spiral works. It works on empowerment. And empowerment is a result of consistent action. It's a result of you showing up and improving. And don't be like a lot of people that don't start their journey because of humble beginnings. You know, every fire, if you want to build a huge fire, you have to start it small. And when it's small, it's actually the most important time, because it's small. You have to keep putting little piece of wood in, you have to keep tending it and growing it. And then as it grows bigger, it grows exponentially bigger. So it grows in from a small little fire, it turns into an inferno. It can turn into a huge raging fire. But you know the process, guys. It's a process that we know from our evolutionary programming, making fire. So it's a very good analogy to actually use to teach that. And I teach that, the fire, put the small sticks first, because our ancestors have been doing that for a long time. So all of us actually have that like thing in our subconscious framework. And that's also what we do with the children's program. We help to structure their subconscious framework for self-development from a young age. And that subconscious framework it looks like a golden spiral. That's what we teach them. We're like, oh, it's a golden spiral. So it's something they can visualize, they can imagine, that they can make real in their mind. And it's a very powerful concept about self-development. We're teaching them to show up every day. We're teaching them social skills. We're teaching teachers and parents skills from a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People, and applying that to dealing with children. Because many of you guys that teach children, and even you parents, you do a terrible job. And I know that because it happened to me. My parents were great, thank God. But my teachers, I had teachers that were shocking. They had no business being educators. They used to actually condition in me as a child a negative self-image. They used to always tell me horrible things. They used to say, you're an empty vessel. They used to look at me with disdain. They used to look at me with disgust, and they were unkind to me. And I mean, I'm an adult now, so I'm over it. But I just think that if you want to develop somebody, I know about self-development. I've been a coach for 5 years. I've worked with very successful people, and I've gotten coaching from very high-level coaches, and I know about building someone's self-esteem and their confidence and their self-image and developing them as a human. And I'll tell you what, if you don't speak to kids with respect, if you don't treat them like people of value, and you actually don't tell them things that are good, you're doing them a huge disservice. If you just complain to children, shout at them, make them scared and all that, you're not doing a good job to develop a high-functioning human. To develop a high-functioning human, you must ingrain in them that they are already like that. You must ingrain in them that they have value. They need to be respected. You know, even for adults, I'm a master of social skills. I've been a dating coach for 5 years. That's how I got into all of this. And I understand human dynamics at a very high level. I can interact with people very well. And the core of everything is respect. And let me ask you this question. When you were a child, did they respect you enough? Because it doesn't seem to me like that's the world we live in. It seems like I live in a world where people abuse children. That's a more common thing. And it is something we'll overcome, and it's a dark thing to bring up and all that, and I don't really like to bring it up, but it is a reality, and we need to change things. We need to teach people how to actually engage children properly. You know, there's certain fundamentals of social dynamics and influence that most educators around the world are fundamentally lacking, and that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, covers extremely fundamental things, and we've summarized it so it's very quick to teach the people about it. You know, like one of the principles from the book is to, if you want to influence someone, you need to understand what they want, and you need to actually implant in them an eager want, an eager desire, a burning desire for whatever it is you want to influence them with. So if it's a child, let's say, and you want the child to have good habits, you want him to be a good student, you want him to get a good job, you want him to play sports, you want him to be social, be confident, you want the child to have the best life, right? Then what you do is you implant in that child the desire to do the things that are necessary for him or her to actually have that life. And those things that are necessary are daily habits of excellence. And then what we've done at the company is we have established a whole framework, and it all starts with journaling, and it's the same for adults and it's the same for children, but theirs is obviously different. It's much more simple, but the basis is the same. It's the positive self-affirmations and it's the gratitude journal. And now more than ever in the modern world is it necessary for us to be doing this, because the social media ruins people's self-image. It ruins it. It ruins it. It ruined mine. And I know from first-hand experience, it even led me down addiction, because I thought I was a worthless nothing, because I always used to see the other guys on social media richer than me and all kind of shit. So that's the one thing. And the other thing that it does is it causes an attitude of ungratefulness. And if you have a child or something, one of your biggest things to watch out for is if that child is developing that attitude of not being grateful. Because when any person, child or adult, loses gratitude for life, their whole mindset is fundamentally flawed. The whole foundation of it is unstable. And just think about it. Let's say you had a car that was an old piece of shit car, and it didn't work well, and you didn't like it, and it was ugly. And then the next day you got a car that was like a Ferrari. How much more would you care about the Ferrari? You would care about it a lot more, because you see it as being something better. And that's the same thing with the self-image and with the gratitude for life. When there's no gratitude there for life, right, and for ourselves, we are like that Ferrari. No, we like that other car that we don't care about. Why would you put an effort for something you don't care about? You see that? The whole structure of the self-development and mindset of excellence is based on gratitude. And it took me years to figure that out. I was trying, doing crazy things, because I realized it was the habit tracking, right? And I realized, okay, you have to do stuff every day to win. And then I just made habit trackers, but I made like some habit trackers with 15 habits on, and just crazy. And I tried to do it all the time, and I always failed. And then like I got it right eventually when I just started doing gratitude journal in the morning with the self-affirmations, and I just took that just so seriously, and then I just started adding on the habits, and I got to the stage where I'm just doing all the stuff and just flowing. And I want to share that with you guys, because it's the best feeling in the world, you know, that your life is on a trajectory that is magical. That's what this does. You know, you do all these actions over here, you do more actions, you do this, you do that, and you just do so much, and you look at your life and you're like, how is it transforming like that? And then you realize, because you're using principles to your advantage, you're not standing in your own way, doing a lot of actions, so a lot of cause and effect is happening. The more actions that we take, that's the more causes that we can cause, and the more effects that can happen back to us. So like now I'm going to this boxing match, for example. I've got the USOE shirt for the boxer, and that I've got another like 15 shirts over there, USOE shirts. We're gonna all wear them together. So now I'm doing a cause, right? I'm going there with all these shirts and gonna film, and I've got the drone even, and that's going to cause something. And then when I do that again and again and again every day, doing this, like even in this car, I had a meeting with 2 of my members of the team, and they doing stuff, I'm doing stuff, all of us are doing stuff, and that's nice, because then you can look into the future and you can say, you know what, there is a brighter day ahead. That is what I'm talking about. A brighter day ahead. When our habits are bad, we know there's a dark day coming, and that fucking sucks. And that also pushes us to do those bad habits more, because the whole outlook on life becomes negative. That's how it was when I was on drugs. It was like, I knew like I'm probably going to run out of money. Like subconsciously, I knew I'm going to run out of money. Like bad things are going to happen and whatever. And that in itself made me more negative and made me more dysfunctional. And when they say discipline is freedom, it's the most true thing in the whole world, because a disciplined person can do what he really wants to do. You know, and most people, they don't do what they really want to do in this life. They don't do it, because to make real progress and to be actually really successful, it takes time. It takes time and effort and challenges. And that's why the consistency, I've been talking about it for years. And there's not that many members, but the members I do have are incredible people. So I'm not looking for so many members. The USOE is not for everybody. And I'm happy it's like that. But I forgot what I was going to say, guys. But anyway, check that out. USOE shirt, bro. You got the white ones, you got the black ones. We got all the ones. And you can go to the website, guys, upwardspiralofexcellence.com. You can get free self-development tools. The gratitude journal you can get for free. Habit track you can get for free. There will be free video courses. I'm going to give like 99% of the stuff away for free, but there is stuff that I have to put only for the elite mastermind. So if you want to take it seriously, guys, you want the best year of your life coming up this year, and you want to show up every day, and we'll walk the path with you. You know, we do it. I do my own program. We'll get you approaching every day, gymming every day, doing business every day for a year, and you'll change your whole life. Even in 3 months time of doing that, you won't even believe it, how different you'll be. So confident, bro. And it's amazing. And you feel so alive. I feel like that now. It's nice, guys. I'm getting all worked up here, but I hope that you guys benefit from my work. And I want to just tell you that I'll work on this until I die. You know, the USOE, that's my whole life purpose. And I love that, and the USOE is like such a nice thing, because it helps people get their lives back. It helped me get my life back, and this program works like no other. Yes, in the beginning you'll probably struggle a lot, but once you do it for a while, you get used to it, and you do the stuff automatically. Even these videos, I'm not even thinking, it's just coming out like that because of practice, because I apply the USOE to the videos. So if you're tired of messing around, you want to stop procrastinating, click the link right now and you can apply for coaching and join us. Invest in yourself, invest in your future. There's a reason you got to the end of this video.